Hey guys, if you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Appreciate you. Now let's get to it. Alright y'all, Average Gamer signing on, back with another video, and man, oh man, I got myself into quite the pickle here. As you see, I am now a part of a Pokemon Draft League called the Eastern NC Draft League, man. It's a singles league. I got into it. Oh, look at this. Ain't no one care about my OneDrive. Anyway, yeah, I'm in a draft league. It was kind of unexpected. My brother, a Smash player, so you know how that goes. He invited me because apparently one person didn't show up. I was like, you know, I like Pokemon. I like meeting people. So hey, let's do it, you know. So yeah, I'm part of Draft League now. I actually never been a part of one before. Most of my Pokemon experience was actually in VGC 1, so singles is kind of a different world that I don't dabble in too often. Secondly, seems like from what I researched, there's a lot of preparation involved. And like most of the teams I make for Pokemon, I don't prep that much. Like when you hop on Showdown, you go into like a random battle or whatever, like you don't prep, man. You may prep some things that can handle certain meta picks or anything like that, but in terms of specific opponents, designing a team for a specific person, like I've never had experience with that kind of thing, so it was definitely something unique, but I think it was worth trying because again, I like Pokemon. So I actually, in terms of draft, there were 16 coaches. We did like a snake style draft apparently. I was actually, the guy I replaced was second. So I actually would have had the second pick, but I came in like late, so I missed the first 2 rounds. So although I got 2 instant picks to catch up with everyone else, they weren't the high tier picks, you know? So, but I still am very happy with my team that we'll go over it in a second. I am actually the Charlotte Czars, but we'll get to that in a bit. I think the most interesting thing was the terrestrialization in terms of the rule set, because everything else looked kind of standard, like basic Smogon rules, elimination of some items, but the Terra captains were interesting. As you see here, that's the boy, Kane. Shout out Kane. So we can't Terra pretty much any top tier Pokemon. So, you know, your Iron Valiant, your Kingambit, your Great Tusk, things like that. Iron Bundles, what have you. We can't Terra those. So each Pokemon that was capable of being drafted was assigned a point total. I guess it was based on like how good or popular they were, I guess. So any Pokemon 9 points and under were the only ones that could Terra, besides these Pokemon, of course, because they're broken with Terra, obviously. So yeah, I'll probably just get into my team now. I've never done something like this before, so I don't know how to structure it. So anyway, I'm the Charlotte Czars. I didn't change the name or anything. Wanted to represent, you know, I got in late, so have no reason to change anything up. But this is the team, you know. So when I first got invited, I got 2 free picks, like I said, just to catch up to where everyone else was in the drafting order. So my first 2 picks were Dragonite and Thundurus. I think Dragonite was probably the best Pokemon available. Like I said, 16 coaches, already 2 rounds have passed, so like all of the top tier picks, you know, Iron Bundle, Dragapult, Iron Valiant, Great Tusk, Kingambit, like all those guys were gone. But shockingly, Dragonite was left, and I think this is actually one of the better Pokemons in the meta right now. I forget its exact usage currently, but I think how versatile it is. Multi-scale pretty much ensures you live a hit unless we're talking like a heavily offensive ice type Pokemon. And it kind of does all. Can be bulky offense, can be a part of hyper offense, can run choice items, can run things like Silscar for increased extreme speed. So I think this Pokemon's great. And then next up, I kind of wanted for my next pick, I knew I had to probably get something that had either great versatility or just like what did I want? I forget. Oh yeah, it was pretty much just versatility. So I picked up Thundurus, also a Pokemon that was still there, although that's not that surprising, because that was definitely the Pokemon that was going to picked up in the 3rd round, from what it seems like. So yeah, has Prankster, has Defiant, 2 relatively good abilities. Can Thunder Wave, has great base stats. I just really like the Pokemon personally. So these were 2 picks that I kind of just made off the spot. I kind of just looked at the draft, like you can see where the tiers. You can kind of just see like everyone got a point total. I was like, oh, Dragonite was there. Yeah, let's pick him up. Oh, Thundurus was there. Let's pick him up. They're relatively high on the point totals. So at this point, okay, I got these 2. Now I'm actually going to start thinking a little bit about what I wanted this team to be. Because obviously I'm invited. Like I'm gonna treat it seriously, you know. It's all fun and games, but I do enjoy winning, even in fun scenarios. So my next pick, I automatically wanted to go with Scizor. Scizor has been a part of pretty much any team I've made, particularly in singles. Like I said, I don't dabble in singles often, but when I do, Scizor was almost on every team I've made. And even on some VGC teams I've made him. I've put him on. Bullet Punch priority with Technician, with Choice Band is great. Also has some pretty solid covers moves. Things like X-Scissor, things like Close Combat. U-Turn for positioning. You can also have setup like Swords Dance, have moves like Defog for rocks and what have you. I think the Pokemon's relatively pretty good. Next up, I definitely wanted to get like someone who could set rocks and also someone just bulky in general. So I picked up Garganacl, one of the most annoying Pokemon of this generation, if not the most annoying. Can be Curse Set, can be Recover with Rock, can be Body Press. Like there's just, this Pokemon's versatile, but his versatility is hyper defensive oriented. He doesn't pull out a lot of offense, obviously, except if you were talking like Curse Body Press, which, as you will probably see, I don't plan on using much. This guy's main purpose is to be a rock setter and to be a wall. Whittle things down with Salt Cure. Next up, we have one of my all-time favorite Pokemon, Gastrodon. Alright, Storm Drain is goated. I don't care what anyone says. Great bulk, can run a variety of things. Also can set hazards. Can, excuse me, Jesus. Having a special Pokemon that can do things like EQ, like Earth Power. Yeah, Earth Power is the special ground move. That's actually really valuable in my opinion, because a lot of Pokemon are relatively physically defensive. I think just blowing up physically defensive mons, as you see here, most of my team is physical, as we'll get to. So having a attacker that can hit on the special side, but also be bulky is very good. And also an ability to catch water moves is very good. Obviously, if you look at this team, is so far these 5 Pokemon relatively balanced. Got some walls, got some offense, got some status all around. I needed someone next who could kind of just blow stuff up with relatively powerful stab, and also, yeah, I also needed like a Terra Pokemon. Like I said, 9 points or below. Every one of these guys were over 9 points. So instantly my mind went to Typhlosion. The Jotonian form, I forget the difference off the top of my head. I'm actually recording this late. So I forget the difference, but I think this one just had a little bit more bulk, if I remember correctly. But, you know, Specs, Eruptions, Terra Fire, as you see here. Yeah, it blows stuff up. So that's pretty much this guy's only job. For my next Terra types options, I went Water and Grass. And I didn't really care all that much. More times than not, I'll be going Fire. But in a situation where I face like a rain team, for instance, Terra Grassing, Terra Watering be very useful. If I fear a lot of ground, like EQ spam, either from like a Garchomp or really anyone threatening, with like Great Tusk as well, switching to Grass could be useful. So that was that pick. Next up, I was actually going to go Arboliva here, but one of the guys picked him up, to my grave disappointment, because my first team in this game had Arboliva. I had some pretty interesting sets for it, but I picked up the next best thing, Toadstool, the boy. Mycelium Might, its ability is insanely useful. Being able to status, you know, Garganacl, being able to status Golden Go, that's just really useful. Also, like Gastrodon, him having access to Earth Power, special ground type move, very spammable against teams that have a lot of physical bulk, but also has great moves. Again, Spore, useful. Stun Spore, useful. Leaf Storm's very powerful, and because of his relatively high special defense and special attack stat, I can invest in other things like speed, HP, also get a chance to live things. But as you see currently, 1, 2, 3, we have a lot of ice weakness on the team, so I didn't want to become like completely destroyed by any powerful ice types. Granted, I never feared ice types that much because, I mean, it's a type that's so bad that I could honestly work around it. So me having these 3 being weak to ice, and these 3 are probably going to be Pokemon that I'm going to be bringing. God, I am slurring my words like crazy. These Pokemon that I'm bringing relatively consistently. I didn't want to be that weak to ice, so next up I went Bisharp. Couldn't get Kingambit, who honestly would have been my pick if I actually got the second pick. But again, I was late to the party, which is fine because I got the next best thing. I think this Pokemon's great. With Eviolite, he has decent bulk. Obviously, any powerful fighting type will kill it, but it can also Terra. So I went Dark, Ghost, and Fairy. I can make its 4-time resistance and immunity. I can make one of its weaknesses a resistance, and also I have no Fairy types on this team, as you can see. So having a Fairy coverage, put Terra Blast on it is very useful. And I went Dark, just to get rid of the ground weakness. I think the weaknesses to Steel will probably be more common than the weaknesses to Dark. So I went Dark Terra type, and also it will boost my Sucker Punch because obviously Bisharp is not the fastest thing in the world. So looking at this team thus far, I was kind of like, okay, what do I need now? And of course, as the draft was going on, we were at like the lower to mid tier picks now. So I looked at this team, I'm like, I need something fast. You know, I'm going to need something that can speed creep a lot. I need something that can just outspeed things and hopefully just take something out. So I went with Kilowattrel. 383 speed at max. This is like Weavile level speed. So that's a pretty decent bar to pass, right? Also, it has access to some pretty good moves. Its special attack is pretty good. Also, having electric type, I can fill a need. Obviously, Thundurus has it, but I think I'll most likely primarily be using Thundurus for support rather than actual attacking. So this Pokemon can Volt Switch, can Thunderbolt, can Eerie Impulse, can Thunder Wave. Air Slash is also very useful because I don't really have much to deal with fighting types right now. So having Air Slash is also useful, so I think this was a pretty easy pick. Next, I wanted an Intimidator. I was going to go for Tauros Water, but someone picked it up, so I picked up Tauros Blaze. Relatively simple. I can't Terror it, sadly, because he was one of the exceptions, but Raging Bull, great to deal with screens. Access to decent moves like Earthquake, bulk up for setup. And also, of course, its Intimidate is primarily going to be its function. Next, I wanted another potential defensive piece, but also could do some things on the status end, so I went Drifblim. I think this Pokemon is pretty good. Has access to Strength Stat, which is a fairly decent ability for recovery and also weakening the opponent's attack potential. Has things like Will-O-Wisp and Thunder Wave as well to slow down, and of course its main attacking move will probably be Hex because of that. Status things, Hex them, do decent damage that way. And lastly, I just picked up Azula. I'm actually shocked that no one picked up this Pokemon because it's really dumb. Like, fill it away, increasing both its attack and speed 2 times. Very nice. Can also run things like Final Gambit, which is very interesting. Can just automatically take out a threat. Or at the very least, put it to low HP to get taken out by rocks or something else later, or priority. So, I thought for a last pick, had like 5-ish points left. He was only 4. I was like, yeah, that's a free pickup. So general idea with this team, 1, 2, 3, Dragonite, Scizor, and Bisharp. They have priority moves, extreme speed, bullet punch, sucker punch. Whittle everything down with these 2 things. And then use Typhlosion to clean up. Use Guard, Gastrodon, Tauros, Drifblim if needed, just to wall things. Can set up Salt Cure, also whittle things down. Can whittle things down with Ice Beam, Earth Power, Surf, whatever I have. Whittle things down with Hex. Whittle things down with Earthquake and have you. Really, this whole team revolves around Typhlosion, ending the game off, blowing things up. Or even Bisharp, if I want to use him for late game, if I'm using like a Terry Farah or a Ghost Farah. I mean, Terra, excuse me. And then everyone else kind of just plays their role. But this team definitely revolves around the priority that I have. And also the abilities of these Pokemon to pretty much affect any Pokemon with either status or potential decrease in moves like Eerie Impulse. Things of that nature. who I have talked a lot. The curious and intuitive ones among you, we've already got done with the week, as some of you might have noticed. Got my first W, week 1. We're actually gonna go through that because I don't want this video to be that damn long, especially because I don't know how to talk about these things. I'll get more used to it as time goes on. But my first opponent was this guy, Witsit Wobbuffets. So again, I've never done a draft league before, but like my general thought process was like, okay, let's treat it as if I'm playing Showdown or I'm playing Ladder. And I load up the game, I see the team I'm facing, and I have a minute to decipher what are the problems, what's my game plan, what's their game plan, things like that. So that's kind of how I take it. I don't really like calcing, so that probably was going to put me at a disadvantage because calcing stresses me out, and when I'm stressed out, I don't play well, so I don't calc that much. But against matchups that I think are favorable to me, I don't think that's the biggest deal in the world. Now, obviously, if there's a matchup that's even, relatively volatile, or a match where I think I straight up lose, then I may toughen up and calc some things. But as we'll go through today, yeah, I think I won this matchup fairly cleanly, at least on paper. The primary reason is that he has to give something up in order to fight me. Like his main pieces obviously are like Annihilape, Ting-Lu, Moltres, and Spiritomb, from what I saw. Spiritomb is probably going to be his main terror option. Annihilape, Rage Fist can rack up damage very consistently. Ting-Lu for hazards, and then this being a potential sweeper, Berserk weakness policy, whatever. The problem and why I wasn't really scared of this guy's team in terms of mine, and why I think I won the matchup relatively convincingly on paper, was that, for one, his team overall is not physically bulky. Don't get me wrong, you have some solid ones, right? Annihilape has bulk, Ursaluna has bulk, but in terms of their base stats, they're not physically defensive-minded mons. So Dragonite was going to go crazy, Bisharp was going to go crazy. So that was my automatic thought. The second thing that I've noticed is that his team is not necessarily fast, like especially even his offensive pieces. Like Annihilape's not that fast, Ursaluna's not that fast, Ceruledge is not that fast, Sylveon's not that fast. His only real fast options are Inteleon and Moltres, but my Kilowattrel outspeeds both of those and can do heavy damage to them relatively consistently. So thus, I can invest only a little bit of speed in some of my pieces, like Bisharp, like Dragonite, and then I can invest more in bulk so he doesn't kill me in one hit. So yeah, that was pretty much it. I didn't really have like much. Like, I instantly saw this team, I was like, okay, I would have to make a big mistake to actually like lose this, really. So team wise, this is who I went with. Garganacl, Gastrodon, Dragonite, Kilowattrel, Toedscruel, and Bisharp. Going down the list, Guard, I just went standard. Protect, Stealth Rock, Rock Cure, Salt Cure, and Recover. I felt like with how slow his team was, and also the positioning of how his team would work. Oh, sorry, wrong side. We'll get to that in a bit. I felt like Recover was relatively free. Like Ursaluna, unless we're talking like a fighting move or a ground move, probably not going to kill me, and he would probably need Guts boosted in order to do it. Nothing Moltres does kill me. Nothing Ceruledge does kill me. So I could recover relatively freely, can Salt Cure, will things down, protect just in case something is in range, and just will things down from there. Gastrodon, Ice Beam, Surf, Yawn, Earth Power, went relatively standard on this set too. Just full physical bulk. Capable of taking Annihilape, capable of willing it down with Ice Beam and Surf. Ice Beam I put especially for the Moltres, and also to have another option against Ursaluna before I die. Dragonite went Boots just in case I had to bring it in before I could get rocks out. Setup, Dragon Dance, Ice Bear, Earthquake, Extreme Speed. Again, relatively safe. I didn't really play a lot with the EV spreads because, again, I think I won the matchup pretty convincingly. I think it was like an 8-2 matchup, honestly. And in a matchup that dominant, I don't think I have to do anything all that crazy. Kilowattrel. Max speed, it outspeeds everything on his team. If I get really... Air Slash does a lot of damage to essentially everything he has. Thunderbolt as well. Can Volt Switch also for positioning. Thunder Wave, just in case I get into a tough spot, like if I miscalculate a Moltres and he sets up with like Agility, Nasty Plot, or whatever, I can Thunder Wave and then I can switch out, do something else. Toedscruel with Meadow Plate, essentially just my option to destroy Ursaluna and Tinglu. Also, I gave it Spikes just in case. Also, my Spinner can Spore things like his Moltres, which I actually, with this bulk, I actually take a Hurricane. So I can bring it in, take a Hurricane, Spore it. And then lastly, my Sweeper, if you will, my main offensive weapon, Bisharp with Eviolite. Basic set here. Terra Blast, Swords Dance, Sucker Punch, Iron Head. After one Swords Dance Ice and Fairy Tear, I can destroy essentially everyone on his team. So again, I think I won the matchup pretty cleanly on paper. It was just about playing well. So, let's see how I played, of course. Yeah, hey guys, Editing Gamer here. Just wanted to let y'all know, I think there are other guys in the Draft League that are making videos about their teams and whatnot. If I find out that any of them are, I'll plug them in the description below. And yeah, check them out. They're cool guys. Check them out. Do it. After this video, like literally, right after you're done watching, check out their stuff, okay? Check them out. Oh, also, shout out to World. He was the name of the coach of the Wobbuffets team that I'm about to show you guys. Yeah, I didn't actually say his name, so yeah, shout out World, GG brother. And yeah, check the description below. Okay, goodbye. So now I'm actually in my element. Preparing, I'm not good at preparing. Don't want to calc stuff. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. But playing, that's where I'm good. At least, well, excuse me, I'm okay. So this is my element. I look at his team. I'm like, okay, what is he probably going for here? Annihilate, again, as I said before, Annihilate, Spiritomb, Tinglu, Moltres. I expected these four to come. The Murkrow was interesting. I wasn't sure if he was going to bring it or not. My Kilowattrel does have wind power, because I think because of his low speed, he might have attempted to set Tailwind, so I just covered for that just in case. Then the Slowbro was most likely for bulk and also potentially poison stuff, quick draw, regenerate, just a constant switching. So I thought, okay, with these six, his game plan was probably going to be just start off with Tinglu, get rocks up, whirlwind me out or some mess like that. Get Annihilate in, either set up a Murkrow Tailwind, get Annihilate in, just start Rage Fisting, get in Moltres or just start Nasty Plotting, Berserking, taking stuff up. So my game plan was like relatively simple. I was like, okay, I'll match your rocks. I'll go Toedscruel or something, take them out, and then I'll just start chipping away at things. Again, I won this matchup on paper. As long as I play solid, I think I'm fine. This will actually be interesting because I'll see if my hindsight was better or the same as what I actually did. So let's discard. So Garganacl, Slowbro. Again, Garganacl, I'm just getting rocks up. He leads Slowbro, which I thought was interesting. I had no idea what this thing did. And I still don't, mind you. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to get rocks up and Salt Cure you. That was like my main thought. So let's see what I do. Yeah. Salt Cure him. He has Ice Beam. I'm like, okay. Does 30%. I have solid investment. So again, going back to the set, like I can recover pretty easily. But then he hits me with Surf. I was like, damn. He hits me with Surf. I was like, okay. So as you saw there, Salt Cure and I got my rocks up. To me, Garganacl has already done its job, right? So now he hits me with an Ice Beam and then a Surf. Instantly I was thinking that this thing was probably offensive, you know, because it lost health because it has Life Orb. So I was like, oh, damn. So my original thought of it being a potential defensive pivot with Regenerator is probably not true. It's probably offensive with Life Orb. So I was like, okay, that sucks. But I noticed that I was faster than it, which I was shocked about. So I can recover. I can stall it out. So I'm just not really worried anything here. Again, he kind of caught me off guard, but the matchup is so bad for him that him catching me off guard is still not like a problem. So I'm just going to protect, get some leftover recovery. Hits a Sludge Bomb. I don't know. I guess like he wanted a potential poison or something. He may have thought like I was going to bring in Gastrodon or Toedscruel to take another Surf or something, but that's why Protect is so good, you know. I can scout potential switches. But yeah, I'm just going to whittle you down. I'm actually shocked he switches here. I don't know what he was going to... He may have not expected me to have Recover, because I haven't shown my last move yet, but... Although I guess he did really want this for later. With Sludge Bomb and Ice Beam, he'd probably be good against my Toedscruel and what have you, so... I guess I understand why he took it out. But now Tinglu's in, this person I actually thought he was going to lead with, and my goal is still the same. I'll recover here, I'll probably Salt Cure it. Get the recover off. Now I'm back to full. He Earthquakes, does decent damage actually, I was like, okay. But he's Salt Cured, so he doesn't win this. Like, Garganacl's just too powerful. But at this point, I'm like, okay, I'll save this for later, you know. Has that Moltres, has that Annihilate. I'm like, okay, let me save him at half health. He can go do damage later. I bring in Toedscruel, which is my main answer for Tinglu anyway. And because there is no Ursaluna, I'm like, damn. Alright, I get rid of this. Toedscruel is a free sack for later. I can pretty much save it, Spore something, and I can pretty much go from there. Earthquake doesn't do much. Here's just a Murkrow, I don't really care. Takes damage from Rocks, Leaf Storm. Does a decent amount. This is me, this is me predicting a potential Tailwind. If you wanted to go for Taunt, I didn't care. If you wanted to go for Brave Bird again, I didn't care. I knew Kilowattrel would take it. I can kill it with a Volt Switch at this range as well. So, everything's good in the hood, man. Switches out to Tinglu. Good play by him. I probably Volt Switch here. So, yeah, good prediction by him. I bring out Gastrodon at this point. This point, I use my Ice Beam just to whittle things down, like I said again. At least I think I use Ice Beam. Oh, I actually just go with Yawn. Okay. I probably was predicting the switch there. So. He's actually willing to put his Slowbro asleep, which I was like somewhat surprised about, but I was thinking he was going to switch out if that was the case, so I just Earth Power. I get Chip on something, I kill it if that's the case. Doesn't really matter. So this is where I make a mistake, I think. I think a mistake is coming. Yeah, we're just chipping away at each other right now. No real need to probably... Yeah, okay. This is where I make a mistake. So, I knew that Kilowattrel could probably take a Drain Punch from Annihilate. But I wasn't thinking that I just hit him twice with an Earth Power and a Surf. So he's not going to go for Drain Punch. He's going to go for Rage Fist. And in my brain, I like never thought about that. So I just bring in my Kilowattrel. I'm like, I'm going to take this Drain Punch and Air Slash you to death. But he kills me. So that was a big misplay on my part. But again, like, the matchup is so bad. Like, I don't really even need Kilowattrel to win this game. I don't. At this point, like, his Pokemon are already starting to get whittled down. So I feel like Kilowattrel like is fine. I probably could have 6-0'd him. But the win for me is all that matters. So I just Terra. He survives this Terra Blast. I was actually relatively shocked. I knew there was a chance, but it was unfortunate. Because if I would have died to this, I would have been in trouble. But the pleasures of Eviolite. Yeah. So now in my head, here, the game is over, right? I got my Fairy Terra. Annihilate's almost dead. He's not going to survive getting rocks when he comes back out with rocks. Oh, look at that. I'm getting a text that I am not caring about. So, at this range, he can really do nothing to me. He's almost forced to bring out Moltres as the only thing that will outspeed me. And at that point, like, I'll just bring in Guard. I can sack something else if I need to. Again, bottom line is, like, I won this matchup so hard. There's just not much he can do. So he brings out the Spiritomb. It was his Terra option. I forget what Terra options he actually had on this, but I was scared on what it would do, so I just switched out. Good for me because he went for Will-O-Wisp. I just Leaf Storm, get Chip off. So, the reason I didn't switch out, again, like, he just doesn't threaten me here. This point, I think Toedscruel has done his job. He's probably, I didn't think he was going to get rocks up again. He didn't even go for them, mind you. So, that clearly was not in his game plan. So, at this point, already did damage to Ting-Lu. Already did damage to a couple things on his team. We can go ahead and sack Toedscruel here, so I just Leaf Stormed again. So, this thing... Okay, so this play... Let me go ahead and just finish it off. Yeah. I sleep it. So, I don't know... So, when he brought this thing in... I just want people to understand. I have been taught a harsh lesson. You never play with threats, okay? And at this range, I'm at 29%. I'm already weak as hell. I'm burned. I am not switching out here. I'm not risking anything else getting hit by a Dark Pulse or a Hurricane. I'm going to stay in and I'm going to Spore this thing. If he's going to be daring enough to go for Nasty Plot, then the game is actually just over. Because now, guaranteed a sleep turn, I bring in Dragonite, who I know with Multi-Seal can take anything this thing is going to go for. I get a little risky with the Dragon Dance. I Ice Spinner and kill it. And at this point, the game is over. Rocks have set in, there's nothing he can do. Did have a Figgy Berry, but he confused himself. That might have been a mistake on his part. I forget what thing you have to do to not get confused by Figgy Berry, but... Yeah, just Ice Spinner. Like, there's nothing he can do. And then this thing dies to Rocks and my Earthquake. So yeah, that was the game. 1-5-0. I think that was pretty clean. Made a big mistake on this Kilowattrel. And honestly, if he killed me with that Rage Fist, I may have actually been in trouble. But, going back to this, first week went out pretty well, man. As you see, Dragonite here did work, 4 kills. Toedscruel got 1, Bishop got 1. Kilowattrel didn't do much, but again, that's really me being a bad player. The reason he didn't do more. And with that, it got me... Where is it? Where is it? Oh yeah, here it goes. It got me 3rd. Where is it? No, that's the draft standing. Am I stupid? Hold on. Hold on. I can do it. I can do it. Okay. I guess it just didn't show. But I was like 3rd in the rankings. There was 2 guys that 6-0'd their opponents. I went 5-0. Again, if I played better, I think I probably could have 6-0'd them, but yeah, that was kind of my outlook on my team. Charizards, we go crazy. Shout out to my opponent, Wobbuffet. Yeah, Wobbuffets, he was great. Next week we face the Cinderaces, which this matchup is very interesting. I'll probably make a video on that as well. Not to mention, I'll probably get more used to how to design these videos. But hey, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm part of a draft league now. It's great. It's fun. Shout out to my brother. Shout out to everyone in the draft league for, you know, accepting my invitation. Well, handing out my invitation and then accepting the invitation. Yeah. Like and subscribe if y'all enjoyed. Average Gamer signing off. See ya.